All right, everybody, we are live. It's game week. We're a night late. If some of you are probably tuned in to press a little bit earlier, welcome into the TigerBait live show. First game of the 2021 football season, game week, and it's been a crazy week. Nothing is going to script. Everything's been a nightmare. Luckily, we're live tonight because here at the TigerBait studio, we got electricity and Cox cable on at the same time at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Buddy's been running the roads, running ragged, so our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in Louisiana who have suffered under Hurricane Ida and the aftermath. And those of you who haven't been as lucky to have power, we hope you get it as soon as possible. Between Energy and Demco, I think it's on the way. But maybe we can take your mind off it a little bit tonight. We're just, 48 hours, less than 48 hours away from the first LSU football game of the 2020 football season. We're going to talk about that. Of course, the show tonight is brought to you by Pride Roofing, and I've got a whole lot to say about them a little bit later in the show. But thanks to Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez for sponsoring us. And guys, those of you on the North Shore and that get to see this show, or you're out, or you have loved ones in that area that you know they have roof damage, give them a call. I got some stories to tell about how Johnny on the spot they were a little bit later in the show. But let me bring Buddy Songy in. How's it going, buddy?
Good to see you. Pride Roofing, of course, does take great pride in the work they do, and to show you how committed they are, Mike. I got a text from Mike and Alex the other day and talking about the hit that they took, and you've already turned them on to 4 or 5 people. Of course, we've been off the air a little bit because of no electricity, but 855 Pride 16. It's real simple. 855 Pride 16, and believe it or not, they will get to it in a very, very timely fashion. And it's great to have those kind of people in times of need. I mean, I got to be honest with you. This is the first that I've thought about LSU, UCLA sports. We've been in survival mode. And I know everybody's got stories, but the good part about it is, we did get to see UCLA against Hawaii, so we got a little idea what they look like, and we'll talk about the matchups and the key points. But the other thing is that as people are getting restored and back to normalcy, a wide range of emotions, with being pissed off, being aggravated, asking why, and for us in Baton Rouge, as bad as we've...
Heat and gas lines will do it to you.
But listen, I haven't seen Baton Rouge shut down like this in a long, long time. And we were lucky because at the end, Ida, who I call the illegitimate daughter of Katrina, 16 years ago on the anniversary, and we're not making any jokes, folks. So we hope that all of you out there did not perish with life. I don't know what happened with Grand Isle and all those places, Laplace and all that. So you are in our hearts and prayers. We're going to talk some football, but for me, I'm not going to BS, Mike. This is today. I got my car fixed. I got trees done. This, that. Everybody, things are starting. I called you this morning and said, I'm hoping to get Cox back, hoping to get the lights on. So praise the Lord for everybody that have got back. Now, here's the good thing I think people got to understand. And this is amazing how when Katrina hit, LSU was going to play Arizona State. And, of course, they had to go over to their place at the last minute. And they won that ball game with early Doucette. But one thing I know Coach O and the team knows is that they are playing for a lot of people over in this state. And it's one of the things that makes this state great. Look, I could have left a long time ago, Mike. You too. But we're here. We grew up here. And one thing about this frickin' state of Louisiana is resiliency. And that is what makes the people around here, even though I want to go to Texas or Florida or the Panhandle or whatever, I can't leave it because of the resiliency and the love of football, the love of people, and this is when people bond. So help somebody out there if you can. But I really like the way this thing sets up. Going to be a very good competitive first half probably, and then I'm expecting LSU to extend the lead and win 41-27. So my early prediction is that those running backs will make some plays, and LSU will make more plays. But I expect when it's all said and done, there should be a lot of feel-good in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, you mentioned early Doucette, and we used to always have they used to early and Jacques Doucette or maybe it's the other way around. They would argue, is it Ducey or Doucette? And so you're talking about this one thing after another this week. Jacques gets to LAX, and they lose his luggage. Someone else picks up his bag, and luckily they got it. 4 hours later, he ended up getting the right piece of luggage. But he was like par for the course. But we got comments from guys already in here tonight who are actually in Los Angeles watching the show tonight.
Shout out to Texas Tiger. I want to say, hey, man, you're representing Louisiana in a great way. We hope that all of you, and this is the sad part of it.
I had a 50-yard line seat offered to me, and I didn't take it.
Well, but this is a sad thing. I know at least 15, 20 people that said, look, man, I got to get my lights on. I got to take care of my kids. This was a bucket list trip, but it is no longer. And they're dumping tickets and all that other stuff. But I think that there's going to be a great contingency of LSU fans. Sad the band's not going to be there, but UCLA is giving away tickets to just make it look a little bit better. Because would they all say Louisiana football's a religion and UCLA is an afterthought? You
hear what UCLA was giving free tickets to high school kids?
Yeah.
And they had to stop it because the USC kids across town were barraging the system with fake names.
Oh, I didn't even think of that one.
Oh, yeah. So, all right, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button and please share. If you're on Facebook, please share to the LSU groups that you're a member of, Real Tiger Nation and so forth. And I know our Tasha Thibodeau out there in California has got to be hosting a big crowd of LSU fans. She runs a great group with the Real LSU Tiger Nation. And if you're on YouTube, please hit the subscription button in the notification bell every time we go live. We're going to do a post-game show as soon as we can after we get everything done on the site. We're going to try to go live as fast as we can Saturday night after the game is over. Preston will be here for that one. And yeah, look, I got a chance to watch the UCLA game, and I want to watch it a second time. I was probably more impressive with Charbonnet, the running back, than anybody else on their team. And with a name like that, I'm like, he's got to have some Louisiana ties. And I went and looked him up, and sure enough, he does. Back when he's got some. So, yeah, I thought up front they're small. I thought the defensive line's quick, but there's no size there. And Hawaii's bad. So, quarterback barely, 50% of his passes. So, I like what LSU's going to do. Sure, you would prefer LSU was sleeping in their own bed all week and didn't have to relocate to Houston and practice at the Texas facility. But that might actually be good for LSU. And I'm curious to know what that meant to them for the 20-hour rule. Because the fact that they're not in class, I wonder if the 20-hour rule applied to them, if they were able to get extra work in. Because once you're in school and you're going to classes, you're locked into 20 hours no matter what. I wonder if they could act like a pro team all week and just do nothing but football. So they're going to be doubly prepared prepared for UCLA.
But let me ask you something. Do people drive 70 on the interstate?
Yeah.
No. They drive 80, 85.
So you're saying Orgeron's got his thumb on the clock at practice?
No, I'm saying that and I asked one of our...
They don't even have a period clock at the Houston Texans facility.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I don't think anybody's worried about the 20-hour rule there. Look, for those of you who do not understand the magnitude, and this is driving me a little crazy. You know, the line is coming down, and I'll be honest with you, I thought it was going to go the other way. But because UCLA looked good, and I agree with you 100%, Charbonnet transferred from Michigan, and Britton Brown, who's a grad transfer. Brown's about 6'1", 205, and this Charbonnet 6'1", 6'1 and a half, 220. So right out of the gate, Jared Small, Damone Clark, Micah Baskerville, Bug Strong, Cordell Flott, Todd Harris. Those six right there, I think are going to be crucial because I like everybody else's potential. Look, the quarterback needed that first game. He looked really bad throwing the football, even when he had open receivers. He'll play better. But if LSU's defensive line puts pressure, and he's under pressure all game long, he's going to be probably hurting LSU more with the run than the pass. But you got to tackle those running backs because, as we know, if you don't wrap up, then a 5 or 6 yard gain can turn into a 35-yard touchdown. Excited, and you said it, Mike, UCLA very aggressive on defense. Man, they're sending all these fast, quick guys. Hello, Max Johnson. Look, Dink, Dunk, Butte, Jeray Jenkins, Jontre Kirkland, Brian Thomas. Oh, by the way, no Miles Brennan, no Glenn Logan, no Armani Goodwin, and no Malik Neighbors, who's got a shoulder. So those four. He did say Dellinger is back. We don't know if he'll play. They did get all the O-line back. So let's give Coach O a little credit the way they manage these injuries in the fall camp.
Blaine Smith, good evening. Glad you gentlemen okay. Thank you, Blaine. Want some good news on recruiting? Well, obviously, Jamon Tapp committing to Texas was not bad news, and particularly since I really like what I saw when I filmed him this time last Thursday night. I went to Episcopal High School and got to film him and interview him. And, people said, well, what does he look like? And I said, man, he looks like a smaller Quincy Wiggins, that they're both similar, and that they're, he's smaller than Quincy. Obviously, he's 2.5, 6'3", 240 range. And I thought, similar to Quincy in that so much untapped potential, very raw, very aggressive, great motor. But then multiple days later, he ends up committing to Texas. So we're going to see what that means down the line. It's one of those deals where it happened. The commitment happened right after the storm hit, and reaching out to sources and a couple of them, of course, because of where they're at in Donaldsonville, there was no phones. Any other sources were out of town. So it's kind of honestly hasn't been anything I've worked on to see what's going to be the fallout and what does it mean as of right now. Is that something that can get maneuvered down the road? But what has been interesting, when you look at LSU's commitment list and you start saying, we were talking 2 or 3 weeks ago, how many spots is LSU going to hold back? 1, 2, 3? Man, there's no room. Certainly you might have 1 or 2 that's currently on the commitment list now that fall off, and if Jamon Tapp sticks with Texas, then that you start to get there. But even then, I don't know where LSU can hold back and sit there at 23 when it's all said and done. And that's why they want the NCAA to come in and give them the extra spots. So I was there Thursday night, and then the next night I went to Ponchatoula, and those poor folks. I saw it right before that area got wrecked, and De La Salle brother Martin was the first game. Got a chance to look at the 2023 offensive line for De La Salle. I think he needs some work. He needs to get bigger and stronger. I want to see what is going to happen with him a year or so from now. Very, very raw, but he's not carrying any bad weight. I think he's far from being a finished product. Richardson, the linebacker that LSU offered, who was a 9th grader last year, he's a very, very stout linebacker. And I still have an interview with him that I need to get up on the site that I did. Everything's got pushed with us losing power. So I'm going to get that up on the site either tonight or tomorrow. And then the next game, Ponchatoula laying the wood to Newman. And, that's again where Arch Manning against a good team looks pedestrian or mortal. And, of course, Ponchatoula's loaded. Loads of talent. Jacoby Stevens obviously looks very much the part. Cody Finley, TJ's younger brother, 195, 200-pound wide receiver. If he had a little bit more speed, he would have a lot more offers. But I think, if he could become a tight end at 230, he would have a slew of offers as well. So the defensive lineman that LSU offered Tyler for next year, I think he's much like the offensive lineman at Brother Martin. I think he needs some work. And the receiver that's committed to Notre Dame, I watched for him. Word in Ponchatoula last week was that he might be flipping to Michigan.
Well, I will just remind you that the last time we did this show, I specifically asked you a question, and of course none of us know, but I posed that simple question: how is NIL going to affect recruiting? And we'd heard the overtures, and I told people last week, I'm not saying I told you so, but I mentioned the fact that the people in Texas that are LSU fans are going to have to do this. Mm-hmm. And what does he have tweeted underneath?
Business decision.
Business decision. Folks, I don't know if LSU can keep up with the Texas and the Texas A&Ms, but trust me when I tell you, this is a new game, And until we go through a year or two of it, we're not really going to know what kind of money, how it's going to be. Look, the great thing about NIL is that they want to control it and it all be up front. Did you see this Ohio State kid that gave up his senior year in Texas because they wouldn't let you do an NIL deal in Texas? $1.4 million. We don't know if he's third on the depth chart. By the way, they're playing on TV right now, had a 7-0 lead over Minnesota early. But my point is this, Mike. I just think that it's going to be interesting to see if this thing gets all crazy with just laying $500,000 on a kid and buying championships. I don't know if A&M and Texas can do that, but the LSU Sugar Daddies better be ready.
My buddy Ross Akpan, the offensive line coach at Madison Prep. Big game tomorrow night in Lafayette. You're going to be in the building. Ross, can I get a seat on the bus with you guys to go? Because my thing about going to Lafayette is I got a little over a half a tank of gas. And I'm like, I know I can get to Lafayette and maybe a little bit back, maybe to Bro Bridge before I run out of gas. You know,
you're gonna have to get.
So Ross, let me know if I can sit on the bus with you guys.
By the way, Mike,
I can get to Madison Prep and get on the bus with y'all and come back. Let me know.
By the way, Mike doesn't toot his horn, and of course I feel embarrassed that I did toot mine about that NIL last week. But you had a lot to do with getting those two teams together, and that's the kind of
well,
thing.
yeah. See, I don't know if I want to take a whole lot of credit for putting Madison Prep and STM together, because if Quincy Wiggins gets loose on Walker and something happens, everybody's going to blame me. So
no, I'm just saying you facilitated it, and for all those high schools. By the way, back to Arch Manning.
It's going to be but just real quick, it's a whale of a game, Coach Akpan. I said dream matchup. It's one of those deals, unfortunately, because of, they're canceling all the games in the area, and because they're going to Lafayette, they get to play, and it's going to be a whale of a game. So
I would just hold Quincy on every play. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not trying to be a joke here, but I'm saying, look, these offensive linemen, if you keep everything inside and you get your elbows out and you're grabbing, they're going to call it. But great game, and we hope that once again we can get back some semblance of normalcy.
If I can get, and I might actually go tonight. I got a Murphy around the corner, and the line didn't look too bad. I might try and go a little bit later, see if I can just top it off, and then I'll be good to go.
There you go.
But that is going to be, people in Lafayette are giddy. Of course, they got. But in Lafayette, they can't get gas either. I got.
You got to get gas before you go.
I got friends all from Lafayette all over my Facebook saying where to get gas. So it's not just this area. And the hurricane didn't even go anywhere near them.
Sure.
I don't even think they got any rain over there Sunday.
Yeah.
Brian Annie Penton. Good evening, Mike, from my hotel room in the middle of LAX. Got to see the Rose Bowl today and went to see the Braves last night at Dodger Stadium. Can't wait for Saturday at 5:30 here, and at 5:30. In Pasadena with those mountain range, it's going to be a chill bump moment, I think, if the weather is as beautiful as it always seems to be whenever they got a blimp flying over. I don't know if they've got a blimp over, but that's going to be something else. It's once in a lifetime for LSU to play in Rose Bowl.
Yeah, Coach O is familiar with the settings. They'll have a practice and a walkthrough inside the Rose Bowl tomorrow. He wants to get them acclimated, don't want to have the Hollywood look. I really thought there were going to be about 20,000 Tiger fans, but now with Ida and all the things that unfortunately have happened.
Look, there's going to be some guys that all of a sudden their power came on just a little while ago, and then they're going to be like, you know what, the hell with it. And
but they're still
and they'll drive all night.
But there's still going to be some that don't make it. But look, 15 to 17,000 is going to blow away the UCLA crowd. What do you think? You
that crowd last week that they had for Hawaii, that looked like an LSU spring game. Of course, the Rose Bowl swallows you up. That stadium. If you have a sparse crowd, it really looks bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway,
Gregory Price, he says, Texas Tiger in Pasadena. You brought him up earlier.
All right, Texas Tiger. Good. Keep up the great representation, man.
Brian Andy Penton, he adds, this city is not a football city. Me and my wife were at a sports bar. The only thing they had on was soccer.
Yeah. Well, look, UCLA, of course, nobody reads the paper anymore anywhere, but UCLA football, Mike, if there was such a thing as a sports page, on a paper that was, I don't know if the LA Times or whatever, if they're flourishing, or not doing like we're doing over here, the Advocate, kind of flustering a little bit. But lo and behold, UCLA football would probably be on 8 or 9C. I mean, look, they don't care about it over there. I do think they have an advantage that they got some of the kinks out in the first game. I also think that, as you alluded to, they are smaller at the line of scrimmage. This is one time where that SEC physicality should wear on them. You agree with me? Pretty competitive first quarter, maybe even first half. But then once they get their bearings straight, and how about this? With Goodwin being hurt, John Emery and, of course, TDP going to get opportunities. He did mention Corey Connor would play, and it wouldn't shock me to see Josh Williams get a carry or two, because he's been pretty darn good in this fall camp.
Kenny Russell, Mike, are you going to be at the game Saturday? No, I'm not. I made the calculation, and if I would have known how this played out, I would have opted for some of the opportunities I had to go to Los Angeles. But I try to knock out as many high school prospects in September as I can, because there's so many non-district matchups where I can see LSU recruits for multiple years for each team on each side of the ball. And then if the weather goes to form the way I'd like it to, usually I've gotten everybody I need to get for the most part by the end of September, and then I can double up in October and in the playoffs. But obviously there's nothing tonight, and then tomorrow night we're going to see about me hopping a ride with the Madison Prep football team and getting to Lafayette. But that's going to be a game there. And there's some other ones. But, yeah, no, I'm not going. But I tell you what, I really want to talk to you guys about Pride Roofing. I preach about them every week. And after what went down earlier this week with Ida, I've seen firsthand what they do, and it's why they're the best in the business when it comes to your roofing needs in Louisiana, southern Mississippi, the entire Gulf Coast, all the way to Sulphur, to Foley, Gulf Shores, Alabama. They've got you covered. I had multiple friends that I called, had them call Pride Roofing. One of them got so emotional on the phone because it was a guy in New Orleans, a dear friend of mine. Half his roof was blown off by 10:30 that evening. And he said, no, I've got somebody. Well, I got somebody, didn't come through. And I had Pride call him, and within hours, a Pride guy, one of their guys that's in the New Orleans area, was at his house and is on it. Got a buddy of mine in Laplace I went to college with. Same thing, nothing going right, just a heartbreaking situation. Pride Roofing's there in a hurry. Takes care of him and his dad. Blake Ruffino, who you all know, Are You Serious Sports? His mama had damage to her roof in the Albany-Hammond area. Alex Martinez was there in a hurry. If you know somebody that has a roof issue, they're going to deal with the insurance adjuster, call Pride Roofing, 855-PRIDE-16. And what's really important right now that I always talk about every week is how many shingle. Look, their roof was damaged in Albany. Their Pride headquarters, they're not worried about fixing their roof. They're worried about getting your roof fixed. 855-PRIDE-16. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait. So you're not only going to get your roof and your house repaired, but they're going to give you free TigerBait for a year for saying you heard about them on TigerBait.
Job well done is a job done with pride and by Pride. Don't forget, residential roofs, metal roofs, commercial roofs, repairs and maintenance, quick turnaround, as you were mentioning, high-end materials. You talk about all the shingles, how much inventory they have, and the best labor warranty that you can find. Licensed residential and commercial contractors. One thing about these guys, I think the biggest message tonight, not only about getting there on time, but about caring. Caring, because what roof is on top of your head is just as important, if not more important, than the roof they have on over there.
And look, they were having the same phone issues as everybody else.
Holy cow.
If you were with the 3-letter carrier, or then they had multiple phones. Alex had the Verizon phone. So we got that figured out in the first 2 days, the first day after. And Mike was saying, give them my personal email address. I mean, whatever it took. And that's what I've been telling you guys about for a long time. So call Pride Roofing. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait. Somebody said turn my mic on. You guys can't hear me? Yeah, I'm on. I'm on, guys.
All right. You know, I've had some problem with Mike. So, and look, as you can tell, folks, we're a little rusty. I'm a little rusty for sure. This has been something that we are used to, but it always strikes you and this one was a little bit different. I mean, I've never seen Baton Rouge shut down the way it has been shut down. So the great thing about it, folks, hopefully, whether it's Energy or Demco, you get your lights in time for that football game. I had a buddy of mine tell me, he said, "Bud, man, I'm going to call you and cuss you out for 10 minutes. I said, "Yeah, if I don't get that football game on my TV and have my lights come Saturday." He was talking about Alabama and Miami at 2:30, Georgia and Clemson at 6:30, and obviously LSU and UCLA. But we understand that there's been a lot more important things, but we're just trying to give you a little bit to take the edge off because, and I got to apologize to Mike. He doesn't realize that there's a reason I'm Mr. Spicy. And if I care about you or love you, then those are the ones that you bark at the most. And so he kind of said, "Well, damn, but man, you've been cranky all week. I've been spicy, but I feel a lot better." And let me tell you what, speaking of pride, this is a great thing about the football team Saturday night. That team is going to run out there knowing that the millions of LSU fans are hurting, and they're going to go out there and kick ass and play with great pride. Once again, 855 Pride 16.
No doubt. Larry's saying, "Mike, I'm hearing LSU hasn't been pushing as hard for Wiggins as Bama has. Can you shed light on that?" That would not be true. Quincy is constantly talking about how he talks to Ed Orgeron almost every day, Andre Carter as well. If they miss a day, one of them, believe me, at least one of them was on the phone probably, but most of them twice a day. So, no, they're very, very close. Now, if you want to start getting into those NIL issues, I'm not even treading in there. I don't know what's on the table or how that's playing out, but that's going to be a whole other formula to I can tell you, then that's going to be the way it's going to be. It could very well be where there's going to be a school, and I'm not going to name any recruit, where a particular coaching staff has done the absolute best job recruiting a player, had the best pitch, had the best situation for depth at their position, close to home, whatever it might be. All of it lines up, but then somebody comes in with an NIL deal that just blows it to smithereens, and it has nothing to do with how well a school did recruiting that kid.
No doubt. This is what we were talking about, and we don't realize the magnitude of what's going to be involved, but not only are you going to have NIL, you're going to have under the table again. And so some of these kids are going to sign and have $1 million guaranteed at some of these places. Like I said, Quinn Evers, pretty incredible that he's already got 3 or 4 deals over worth $1.5 million. So, look, if you care about LSU and you have a business and you want to be a sponsor, then I'm sure there are a lot of people that will help you out. But you just hope it doesn't become a bidding war and you get a kid. I'll give you a perfect example. The cut line was Tuesday, and there was, I saw it, and I'm going like, Marvin Wilson. You know that guy that we all thought was coming over here? By the way, his brother and everybody told him to come over here, and he was infatuated for some stupid-ass honey chicken in Tallahassee, and probably a good D-line coach.
And went spicy again.
And went over there, okay, and got fat as can be, and did okay after a couple of years of eating himself out of a starting spot. Went undrafted, didn't make the first cut. So, but the point of it is that I don't think coaches get enough credit for looking into the character. Now, they wanted Marvin Wilson. And would he have been any different under the tutelage of Ed Orgeron and his people? No, none of us know.
A guy like that comes out of Houston, gets all the fanfare. And then I'm going to go back years before that, and a guy like Benny Logan comes out of nowhere. You just never know.
Well, Diggs, and God bless you, Diggs, up in heaven.
Well, that was a DJ McCarthy special.
Yeah. But Diggs was high on Benny Logan.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Blaine Smith, I believe in 10 to 15 years, high school players will be asking to play pro ball immediately. You know, that's my whole thing, Blaine, because, you know, a lot of this I think probably needed to happen at some point. But I think probably what happened is we're getting hit over the head with so many things at the same time that it hasn't been gradual, and it's getting the purest part of you off kilter with the college football game. But, so if you go this route, at some point, particularly now where these players, it used to always be a joke that there was a particular school that made just as much money coming back for their senior year as they did going pro. That's why they didn't lose as many juniors as LSU. You can probably figure out who I'm talking about. Well, that can happen with NIL.
Yeah.
So
that was my point.
At some point, the NFL is going to say, you know what, we're not going to be obligated. We're not going to obligate ourselves to, saying we're only going to take juniors now. Because if we see a guy like Derek Stingley and we think he can play after 1 year, we're going to go get him. Yeah. Because particularly now, if this keeps advancing and you go and it ends up being where there's a super league, and because the NCAA is going to whatever that super league is going to be at some point is going to be competing with the NFL TV contract.
Well, my point was that it'd be terrible if somebody didn't go to LSU or another school because of the NIL deal. He's going to be happy because he's got some coins, but it might not be a fit, might not be the right system. He may not have fun. But let's be honest, what do these kids, the majority of them, come here for? To play at the next level, have mom and daddy enjoy the experience and watch them play, and now get a boatload of money.
It's semi-pro football now.
None of us know the direction of college football right now, so let's just enjoy this year.
But if you did say it was pro, and you try to put a dollar amount on what the LSU franchise was worth, wouldn't it be worth more than most NFL franchises?
I don't know.
It would have to be.
Look, I want to enjoy it right now. There's still a little bit of innocence, and I'm not worried about all that. What I was trying to point out is that in recruiting, I think it's going to have a much bigger impact.
Well, I think whether it's the players now getting NIL money and becoming, and there's going to be a union or something. Something's going to come about.
They tried that.
I agree with Blaine, but now it's different now. Because I think at some point they're going to be able to go early. I do. Let's see. Let me scroll back. I'm missing a bunch of you guys. Yeah, you go. American Patriot. I think in stereo, you are in stereo. My left headphone is Mike. My right headphone is Buddy. Let's see, guys. Yeah, if you're using a mono radio or you listen to it on this mono, that might be part of the problem. Look at this. Minnesota is this still accurate? Yeah. Richard Cahn, 14-10.
Yeah, that's what I just pulled that up a little while ago.
Minnesota is a good football team.
PJ Fleck
I would love that.
PJ Fleck was a name that got a little we 14-10 halftime. Yeah. Minnesota over Ohio State. He's done a good job over there at Minnesota. I think at the time, of course, we're going back 5 years or whatever, this job was a little bit too big for him. But he's going to get a big gig, and nothing against Minnesota, but that's not a football factory.
Chris Perron, no mask are required for ULL games. I think that's probably because you can go to a game over there and be socially distanced at the same time.
Oh, I knew you were going to take a shot.
I can't resist.
Yeah.
Let's see, guys. Brett Hunter. I feel about the same about this game, UCLA, the same way I did before the Wisconsin game in 2016, trying to get rid of this feeling.
Holy cow!
Is that the one you went to?
I went to it, and there's a lot different about that. Was that Brett?
Brett Hunter.
Okay, Brett. First of all, the Mad Hatter was the head coach. And he sat there and actually had the audacity to say, we've been passing 50% of the time in practice, and we're going to throw it more. Of course, they scrimmaged Leonard Fournette a couple of weeks before that game. He had a gimpy ankle. He got hurt. I don't remember if it was Donnie Alexander or somebody on the team, a linebacker, twisted the ankle. He was never the same. I was there. We go up at halftime, Mike. I've never seen the LSU fan base so pissed off. They're up there smoking cigarettes like on each side, just going crazy. And, of course, you had Brandon Harris, who's a better coach than he is a player. Couldn't hit DJ Shark to set up a field goal, and we know the rest is history. I don't think there's any kind of comparison because LSU is 180 degrees different. Look, you mentioned the aggressiveness on UCLA with what they're going to do with they're going to send their backers. They're going to send people in. And Max Johnson is going to get the center snap and go through progression 1, 2, 3 and dump. And I think UCLA is going to try to throw it quickly. But I think that feeling, we all thought that we were going to go over there and everybody was going to enjoy the trip. It was going to be a bucket list trip. Lambeau and all that.
I think that's why he's making a comparison in his mind.
I understand that. I just think the football game is going to be appreciably different. What was that loss? 17-14?
Now that you bring that up, what's a bigger bucket list, Lambeau or Rose Bowl? Boy, that's close, huh?
For me, it was Lambeau, but it was 5 years ago. Rose Bowl, certainly if everybody would have gone with the actual Rose Bowl. But look,
you guys give your thoughts in the chat.
This is still a bucket list trip for many people.
Kenny Haynes, okay, Mike and Buddy, football is here. I'm the post-game sponsor, and I'm officially excited. Yeah, Kenny's going to be our main sponsor for our Saturday post-game show. And like I said earlier, we're going to try and go as live as fast as we can because obviously that game's starting at the time it does. And what college football games run 4 hours now?
Well, let's just say you're going to be 11 o'clock or later.
But I'm a night owl anyways. I don't mind.
11 o'clock or later.
So,
thank you, Kenny.
I really can't wait. And there's some other games, and I think with the power and Cox issues and other people, I think I'm probably going to have some buddies over here needing to watch the game at my house because that's the panic that's setting in for a lot of people. Like, okay, well, if Cox is down, am I able to get it on my laptop?
Yeah.
Will it stream okay on my phone? I mean, it's a mess.
By the way, Brett, I just, look, call me a homer or whatever. I just like Max Johnson a lot better than Brandon Harris. And I like the play calling and philosophy on offense a lot better. I will say this, Damone Clark and Jared Small and Micah Baskerville and Bug Strong, they better wrap up because those two running backs can make you pay. Not many people were impressed with the quarterback, DTR. But he needed that first game. That's what I'm saying. Displaced and all the things that have happened might take the Tigers a quarter or two. But listen, don't forget, UCLA's got to stop that talented offense.
Or it could.
And they're not going to.
Actually, this Houston thing might have been a good thing.
Absolutely.
So we don't know. My only worry was the food. They're dialed in with the food at that nutrition center. What were they able to get done food-wise in a hurry, lined up for every meal, Yeah,
I don't think that's going to be that big a factor right now.
All right, guys, I want to talk about Tony Freeman, Assurance Financial. Thinking about buying or refinancing your current mortgage? You haven't found a lender you can trust? Let me tell you about Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial in Baton Rouge. And by the way, congrats to Tony. She was named one of the top 10 producers for Assurance Financial, the entire company Assurance, all over, locations all over the place. Actually, she's in the top 5. So congrats to Tony. She's a dear friend of mine, someone who many of my friends have used for their mortgage needs repeatedly. Her knowledge and over 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry is unsurpassed. Tony offers a wide range of knowledge of home loan products. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, ready to buy a new home, or you just want to explore your refinance options, Tony can guide you through your next mortgage experience. You can feel confident you're making the best financial decision with Tony as your guide. Not only is Tony a huge LSU fan, but Assurance Financial is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Call Tony today, 225-239-7150. Again, that's 225-239-7150. And tell her you heard about her from TigerBait.com. NMLS number 104765. Equal Housing Opportunity 70876. And again, congrats to Tony, a dear friend of mine. And if any of you call her and talk to her, you're going to thoroughly enjoy your experience. She's going to go the extra mile. Will go get all your paperwork in order, tell you what they need. She can get you the best deal. And so give her a call.
Tony is a Tiger. She is great.
Yes, she is.
Very, very much nothing but great praise. Another one, Mike, that cares.
Blaine Smith, Mike does a great job. It's recruiting. Things happen. Let's see. Look at this. Kenny Russell. He's calling it now. The UCLA quarterback throws 2 interceptions.
That is quite possible. By the way, you agree with me. By the way, I didn't mention Dwight McLaughlin. Now, Coach O has not come out and said that. I think he's day-to-day. But we know.
What about Coy Moore? That's the question right here from Daniel Glenn.
Coy Moore, I think I saw some footage, and he's been battling. I remember we went out to practice. I told you that he was a little gimpy. I think he's going to be okay. McLaughlin had that high ankle sprain, and you know those things are very moody. But for the most part, my question to you is, Stingley, hey, this is his money year. This is his chance, man. He's got a stage on Saturday night. He can get back to the way he played as a freshman. Everybody's going to be talking about him. Eli Ricks, everybody loves his swagger. And, of course, as we know, they're going to pick on Cordell Flott. They're going to have LSU's going to have somebody that can guard and tackle the tight end. But, man, how much fun is it going to be when you see Allie Gay and Andre Anthony and Mason Smith and B.J. Ojolari and all those guys going after DTR. His eyes are going to get as big as saucers.
This is what I've got on Coy Moore. I'm told he's one of about 4 guys that do so much extra work. They're in a state of overtrain. You're in fall camp and you get a day off. What do? They go out and work out some more, or they go see a personal trainer. Like, they don't let their bodies rest. Tyrion Davis-Price is one of those. Derek Stingley is one of those. I'm told Matthew Langlois is one of those.
Michael Scarborough is one of those.
No, you ain't gonna worry about that. I'm good at eating ice cream these days. But no, that's so. These and that's a hard lesson for guys that age to learn. That you got to let your body rest.
And I think they have the last week or so.
Yeah.
The fact that TDP and Embry and all those guys are back. Hey, listen, people forget if Tyrion Davis-Price gets into the secondary, there's not going to be many UCLA DBs that want to tackle him. Now, I looked at the stats and their charts. They are very seasoned. They've got seniors and grad transfers and grad students in there. They got a lot of experience in the back end on the secondary. But, man, I'm like you. Their offensive line looks small. I don't think we will be able to block LSU for a whole game. And, you would think that LSU would be able with that quick. And they look small on the D-line, too. But they look fast. They look aggressive. So dink and dunk, and then you get those big bodies. Did you see the picture of Deculus next to Bradford? That's 2 big human beings. LSU is going to be leaning on them in the third and fourth quarter with those 300-pounders.
Blaine Smith says Emory's going to have a good game. Let me scroll through some of these guys. I apologize. I know a lot of you got comments I haven't gotten to. Let's see. Mike Duyon says such a bad look during a hurricane. Let him go. I'm assuming he's talking about Tap. Let's see.
Well, that's not finished.
Dane Bergeron, longtime subscribers here every week. Hey, guys, late to the show tonight, busy doing hurricane relief. That's a lot of people. And Buddy, before we went live, said, man, I don't know what the numbers are going to look like. I said, it don't matter. We're going to do the show. And that's a good thing about YouTube and Facebook. If their power comes on tonight, tomorrow, Saturday morning, they can always watch us because LSU doesn't kick off till Saturday night. So let's see. Plenty of gas in Lafayette, says American Patriot. Okay. Let's see. Boy, I missed a bunch of you guys. Bear with me. Here's a good one. Happy Gilmore from YouTube. Mike and Buddy, give us a prediction on Max's quarterback numbers.
I think that is going to be contingent on how well LSU can run the football. And this is a beautiful thing. What has Coach O said ever since he got here? Want to be 50-50. Well, then you got in 19 where you were throwing it for 400 a game. And so I'm going to say something like I expect Max Johnson to be 25 of 39, 3 touchdowns, and 315 yards.
I was asking if you were getting the 300s. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to have 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 25 of 39, which is not the greatest percentage if you realize with these scrimmage stats, but they've been going against the LSU defense. So he may have a better percentage, but I'm thinking 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I think he's going to be well in the 300s. It might be even approaching 400.
Well, because when you dink and dunk, Kayshon Boutte, a 6-yard slant or whatever, can turn into a 59-yard touchdown.
Yep. Guys, give us the update on Minnesota, Ohio State if you've got one. Let's see.
I always like to ask this. Let's ask everybody, who is the star of the game? Who is going to be the pride player of the game? Too early for me to ascertain that, but
I'll go. It's just, a safe one would be Max, right?
Yeah. Safe one would be Max.
Southside versus Notre Dame in a lightning delay. Isn't that one being played at Turlings? I think it is. Or is that one being played in Crowley? I think it's at Turlings.
Couple college updates. Minnesota 14-10 over Ohio State at halftime. Tennessee leading Bowling Green 14-6 in the second quarter. Utah leading Weber State, and Coastal Carolina blowing off the doors on the Citadel 52-14.
Henry Poe, Mike and Buddy house special is Avery Atkins. The kid is a leader on and off the field. He was also a walk-on. He gets number 18.
Hey, I saw, and of course, in all the craziness, I know you've all had trouble.
And I'm getting it wrong when I'm saying Poe. It's Pooh, right?
Pooh Bear.
All right.
I think that's Pooh Bear. Look, I think that is a great tribute to that young man. And look, what have we said? He is the greatest and best kickoff specialist ever at LSU. And if they want him to kick it out the end zone every time, he can do it.
Kudos to McMahon for finding him.
And that minimizes injuries by about 20%. He's also the holder on kicks, and he's also the backup punter. Now, here's the question. Does giving 2 18s each year minimize when you only had one? Some people think it does. We do know this. Damone Clark will not ever be on a kickoff because you can't have 2 18s on it at the same time. Okay?
Well, if you're going to give them this late, obviously you're not worried about them having the right number in the media guide.
No, I know that, but I'm saying
we didn't even get a media guide this year.
Did you
get one?
No, I didn't get one yet either. Hey, have you even
Come on, Bonnet.
Have you had even any kind of interaction with parking passes or press passes?
A little bit. They're working on that, but we didn't get the little thing on Monday. We didn't get. Of course, we get. I mean, look, that's all Hurricane though.
But back to Avery Atkins. Not only is he that awesome of a football player. Oh, by the way, remember that tackle he made? He made some tackles on the sideline. This guy's an athlete, but he's a leader.
I love the guy.
And he graduated in 3 years. That's a class act. So anybody who's beating up Avery Atkins because he got 18, shame on you.
So much for Tennessee. Minus 37, that was a joke.
Yeah, Tennessee shouldn't be favored against Catholic High by 37. Or Madison Prep, or St. Thomas More.
Cade York is great good, says Harold Hibbard. Yes, he is. Dane Bergeron is singling out a freshman to be notable Saturday night. He says Mason Smith, defensive player of the game. Got to support my man from Houmal. Poor Houmal. 2 sacks for number 0.
First time ever an LSU football played 0. I think they're going to let him lose. How fun is it going to be to watch LSU in their cheetah formation, and they're going to put their 4 best pass rushers on there. Guarantee you, Ali Gay, Andre Anthony, Mason Smith, and they've been talking about the skinny kid, Xavier Carter, that is light in the butt, but he kind of reminds people of Arden Key. Now, he's not Arden Key size, but they are going to put some pressure.
I'm going to go with Ali Gay being defensive player of the game.
Yeah.
But look, you got a bunch of guys out there. It can be where one guy flushes him out and right into the hands of another guy. I mean, I think that defensive front's going to be stout, and of course that's going to help your cover guys and Ricks and Stingley. and then that aids those safeties being able to do their job. And there's a lot of things that you want to see first game, and one of them is the communication and that defense looking like they're a cohesive unit and not being so discombobulated and looking like they didn't know where to line up.
Yeah.
And again, I think that some of this getting away out of town might help them. And so, I don't think any of the comparisons to Wisconsin like earlier. I have, for whatever reason, I don't have. Of course, I didn't have it last year, but I don't have any doubts about these new coaches that are being plugged in getting fixed what needed to be fixed. And of course, they also have the advantage of having a full spring and everything back to normal and being able to coach those kids throughout the summer.
Agreed, but it will be interesting. Chip Kelly is a very good play caller. Now, he's not as good as Lane Kiffin, who Nick Saban...
And congrats to him for finally winning a non-conference game.
Yeah, good for him. First one. But Chip Kelly calling plays against Durante Jones, calling signals and defense, and Coach O and everybody there, Andre Carter, going to be interesting. I do think UCLA is going to have some success on delays. We just talked about that pass rush. They're going to drop the little screen and get some big plays on that. The running backs are going to be tough to tackle, but once LSU gets a feel for the game, I just feel like they just have too much talent. UCLA will make some plays Saturday night, so don't freak out.
Harold Hibbert says Ojulari or Cheetah.
Ojulari is the guy I predicted to lead LSU in sacks, even though he doesn't play all the time on first and second down. He'll be there every third down. I like that young man's potential.
Guys, do me a favor. All of you, we very much appreciate you guys being a part of the show each and every week with your comments, whether on YouTube or Facebook. Please like and share. And if you're on YouTube, hit the subscription button and the notification bell. And of course, I want to invite you all. I say it every week. We really would love to have you all as premium subscribers to TigerBait.com. Go to TigerBait.com after the show. Subscribe. Choose the annual package, because when you do that, you basically get 3 months for free. That is your absolute best deal. We've got a lot coming for you. I still have films stacked up from last week. I put Emory Jones out today. I've got some clips on Osbury that I haven't got to you. Jaden didn't play last week, but I've got his older brother, and we're going to be out at some more games. So if you're into recruiting, I've got so much stuff backlog coming your way. I got 2 premium stories tomorrow, a breakdown of UCLA and another piece from Brian. Brian Lazar sent over 2 items that our senior writer that will be up on the site tonight and tomorrow. And but go subscribe to TigerBait. We want to have you get your text alert. You'll get our newsletters. I'm sending out a newsletter tomorrow. So go to TigerBait and subscribe. Goldman, Princeton, Moore. I think Damone Clark has to make an impact or he will be replaced.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Same thing with Jared Small. Look, I like Bug Strong to win one of those spots. And I haven't seen enough of him, but I just like the fact that LSU has a snot knocker, a guy that can stop the run right up the A-gap. We know Mike Jones has tried to do that, but instead of running around people, it's tough when you get a 350-pound offensive lineman get your hands on you. And so I would hope that they utilize Mike Jones on special teams, and we'll see if he's outside. The other guy, look, Damone Clark, I thought looked phenomenal as a sophomore wearing 35. He didn't even look like the same player last year. Kudos to Jared Small. He's worked his butt off, 5th-year guy, got a scholarship, but Micah Baskerville is also coming on. So to me, I'm thinking Bug Strong and Micah Baskerville are going to be just as important, if not more, than Damone Clark and obviously Jared Small.
Lonnie Young Jr., why are the Saints playing in Jacksonville and not in Tiger Stadium?
Well, I'm kind of glad they're not playing in Tiger Stadium, to be honest with you. I want
to keep that field pristine.
Well, not only that, but that was a nightmare when they came over here. And, of course, Saban was coaching the Dolphins, and Tom Benson was spicy, like I like to be, and they booed him, and it was look. Right now, I think the Tigers need to worry about getting the logistics. Do you think? And I haven't started talking or thinking football until this afternoon when everybody got all the lights and everything else. But do you think LSU's going to have any problem getting Tiger Stadium and getting all the stuff ready to host McNeese next weekend?
What is the power situation out there?
I think got powered, but I think they've got a mass
I think
cleanup.
they're going to be fine.
I mean, school, everybody's school, high school, little kids in college was out till Tuesday. So I'm just saying this has been a load on all of us emotionally.
Henry Pugh, any word on whether the NCAA will allow extra scholarships this year? I know that that's been proposed, and it seems likely that it's going to happen, but how soon does that go into effect? It sure would be very beneficial to this LSU staff because they're way under the 85, and they could use the numbers. And I was listening to Preston's show earlier, and he predicted LSU to go 10-2 like I do. I think you're 10-2 as well.
I'm 10-2.
But he also said that he thought LSU was a year away. And while I do think LSU is going to be extremely talented next year, if you thought going into a season that the offensive line was your question mark, go take out what's going to be lost this year and look at the starting lineup, who you think might be the starters for next year's offensive line.
Yeah.
It'll make you cry.
That's why you reload.
Yep. So that's where I think they could use maybe a junior college offensive lineman or a grad transfer or a transfer, the one-time transfer, maybe a couple of them.
And who knows when the NCAA is going to implement all that. I don't think it's that quick.
And I don't like saying that freshmen are going to play right away, but if there's one of the freshmen and they're both highly touted at the top, Emory and
Emory Jones and
Will Campbell. I think Emory can get on the field the quickest, just because he's a guard and it's the transition's easier. But yeah, that's going to have a lot of people nervous next offseason.
By the way, one other little tidbit that O has shared in the last week or so, even though our media opportunities have not been the same, we first saw that when they were working out, you had Anthony Bradford at left tackle, and he's still a little heavy, but he's a load of a man. So then they moved a couple other people over there trying to find a backup for Cam Wire. Well, now Charles Turner, who's the backup center, wearing 69, they like him at left tackle. So don't be surprised if you see him at left tackle. We know that they're saying Dellinger is going to play, but we don't know if that's the case. Bradford is going to be your first offensive lineman off the bench at guard. Got to keep Shanahan healthy. And, I'm excited for Austin Deculus because he's protecting the blind side, and I think that that'll be a challenge for him because those guys are 100 pounds less than him, but you got to bend those knees and get that pad level low, and if you have to, grab them. I mean, everybody jokes about it, but there's a team in the SEC West that surely holds a lot, and they never get called. So, I was joking about Quincy Wiggins, but I'm not lying. If that's a mismatch, I'd tell the kid, hold him every time you can and get away with it.
A lot of young junior. Jay Ward is going to be our new Honey Badger, and Honey Badger give Bergeron and Chip a heart attack.
I was going to mention Jay Ward's going to have a big game. I think he does. Hey, how about Major Burns? Here's a guy that LSU tinkled on, went to Georgia. They had all those All-Americans. He's making great strides. I'm excited to see number 28 in secondary.
No doubt. And Madison Prep.
Yep.
Let's see what else we got. New NFL rule says that teams have to play in an NFL stadium.
Yeah.
Let's see, guys. Ohio State's up 17-14. And let's see. Let me scroll up, see if I missed anything. I think that's it, guys. We went full of almost right. We're right at an hour. Thanks for tuning in. Again, our thoughts and prayers with everybody who suffered damage and have a long way to go. If you're in Southeast Louisiana, the stories and the imagery and the video that we're seeing is heartbreaking. But you're definitely in our thoughts and prayers here at TigerBait, and we're going to be pulling for everybody else to get their power and everything else back on because you lose your power and the heat is miserable. I got a buddy of mine that had the full unloaded for the full house generator. Next thing, carbon monoxide alarms are going off. If it's not one thing, it's the other, and just got to fight through all these issues. And of course, that's the Louisiana way. So go subscribe to TigerBait. Be checking out the website in the next few days. We'll be back Saturday evening after the game's over for our post game and a lot more. We're both on board, saying 10-2, predicting an LSU win. How many points you going?
I think that UCLA is going to give LSU some trouble early on. They'll have to get acclimated to the speed. They got the kinks out. But when I think a very competitive first half, and then I like LSU to pull away 41-37. And that, of course, is a couple field goals with the 5 touchdowns and PATs. And, look, folks, this has been crazy scenarios. So you may have a turnover. You may have a problem on special teams. I mean, stuff happens. But when the smoke clears in the Rose Bowl, you and Preston are going to be doing a post-game show about 11:05, LSU 41-27.
I'm going LSU 42-21.
Okay, you're going to double them up. All right. Well, I mean, you could. Can you believe the spread is down?
Is that a homer score?
No, everybody's got an opinion on how the game's going to go. I'm
what
shocked.
I saw last week, I don't see a team that can play with this. Look, I'm not even thinking about what last year looked like. I just know what this talent is. I know what they've had a full off season to get working and not have all the baloney that happened last year. I think this is LSU football is going to make a statement.
I can't believe the spread is down to 3. And what you were just saying, look, LSU is loaded.
So that's definitely 42-21. That's definitely under.
Okay. Yeah, and I got 41-27.
Is that the safest bet, taking the under? It's 70?
No. Are you kidding? Are you doing? Don't fool with the total, man. LSU could put 50 on these guys.
All right.
You never know on the totals, man, especially early in the season.
Yep.
So we were a little ragged. I was definitely off tonight. I apologize.
I just got shaved tonight. I shaved 5 minutes before the show. And by the way, I've had the AC on in here, and I've got goosebumps. It's finally got cold. So,
but I'm hard to look at when I had a normal week.
Nah, you're good.
So, look, everybody out there, once again, I'll leave you with this. If you don't believe in God, you better be right and have faith and just hang in there, because I know it's a cliche, but it's true, especially in South Louisiana. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And that is something that is so great about this state, that unless you live in the Gulf Coast, you don't know what we mean by that. So they're going to represent. It's going to be a hell of a weekend.
Louisiana hospitality, people helping people. I don't know what I would have done had my next door neighbor not thrown an extension cord over the fence, and I had a fan blowing in my face and was able to charge up my cell phone. It's that kind of stuff, and that's going on all over Louisiana, and that's just a minor thing that I got. A lot of people going well above and beyond, Cajun Navy, the works. So, and then all those linemen coming from all over the country to get everybody hooked back up. I've been having fun when I'm riding around town looking at the names on the trucks, where they're from. I saw some from Jacksonville today. So everybody loves and appreciates those guys. It almost makes you want to stop over when they're pulled over in the parking lot and give them a big thank you. So,
sure.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Go to TigerBait, subscribe. We want to have you. And our next live show is here post-game on YouTube and Facebook as soon as we can, as soon as the game ends Saturday evening. All right, guys. Good night.